Welcome to part three. So in this video, I come bearing good news. It's mostly going to be some corrections on a couple previous observations I've made, and I guess in a way this is my kind of recompense. But everything that I'm going to be showing in this video is going to continue to reaffirm the dates that I'm looking at for March, as well as many other people. So this is very much a good news video. So before I begin, we'll just start with a quick and simple gospel. John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And that's all you have to do. Always come back to this verse. All you have to do is believe. It doesn't matter how good of a person that you think you are, how often you go to church, how often you donate to charity. There is no cosmic equation that's going to result in salvation for you. There's only one way to salvation, and his name is Jesus Christ. All you have to do is believe in him and believe in his sacrifice on the cross, and you're saved. And there's nothing that you can do to be unsaved. So that's all you have to do. Just believe. Don't let anyone tell you anything differently. So we'll start off here and we'll look at this one video from Brother Dana. So upon analyzing this scene last, so just to kind of fill you in if you didn't see the previous videos, there are two blood moons that occur in 2025. One on March, I think 13th to 14th, and the second on September 7th to 8th is when you're going to have that blood moon. So upon interpreting the scene first, I went and let's pull up the blood moon of September, which is 7th, right there. So prior to this scene, they show you a lunar eclipse from the perspective of the moon. So it's a little confusing as to what you're seeing, but what you're seeing in the previous scene is a, let's go if he has it here. What you're seeing is in fact a lunar eclipse. And in the very next scene, they show you this scene where they have he's offering a glass of water to his wife, but what they're really showing you is the constellation of Aquarius. So with the glass of water about 2/3 to 3/4 full. So in my previous analysis of this, I assumed that this meant the time in the year that has passed, as well as this is where the moon is in the lunar eclipse. So if I go to the where you're going to have the lunar eclipse here, the moon is in fact in Aquarius. So I originally thought that this was a nod to the lunar eclipse being in Aquarius, like the particular lunar eclipse that's being shown in the movie. So I don't think I was correct in this. A few things kind of opened up to me as I continued to look at the scene. But first, we're going to go back to the March lunar eclipse here, which occurs in the constellation of Virgo. And you can see the blood moon occurring right there. So this scene kind of opened up to me as I continued to look at it. So who is being shown on the other side of the glass here? This is the character of the actress, Julia Roberts. So Brother Dan has mentioned this in a couple of his videos, but the Julia could be a hint to look at the Julian calendar, which if you're not familiar with that is 13 days before the Gregorian calendar, which is our current calendar. So having gone back, let's see, a Julian conversion here, and just a little extra, just to be certain here. But if we go back to the Julian date, we have the moon here in the constellation of Aquarius. So this is in fact what they could be showing you here with the blood moon. So you apply a Julian conversion, and then you come back, and you're essentially in the constellation of Aquarius. Depending on which day you're looking at the blood moon occurring, this would take you to the first, and then we just bring it back here to Aquarius. So this is in fact what they could be showing you here. And if we look at this, which the longer I look at it, it looks more closer to a quarter than a third. This would in fact be the time that's passed throughout the year, the water that's been poured out per se. So yeah, this still affirms to us that in fact we are looking at this blood moon, which is occurring in Virgo. If we simply apply the Julian conversion, that brings us right back to when the moon is in Aquarius. So that kind of clears that up a bit. So affirming that we can still be looking at this blood moon in March. And another thing within this movie is, I think Brother Dana pointed this out as well, but in the scene where the shipping container or the tanker is about to crash into the beach here, she's wearing a daisy necklace here, so that could be a hint to National Daisy Day, which is on January 28th. So she's seeing the shipping container, which has a white lion written on it. So I believe I pointed this out in a previous video here, but the full moon, which is the snow moon in February, is about to enter, or is in currently, the constellation of Leo. So snow moon, lion, this is where you get the white lion from. And if you apply a Julian conversion to that date, that brings you pretty well to, again, to National Daisy Day. So in this scene, the white lion hasn't exactly arrived yet, but she's watching it approach. So, in a way, then you can assume that the date of her perspective is just a few days before the full moon in February. So, I believe with that kind of logic in hand, we can assume here that what they're showing you is the Julian date of the moon, roughly 13 days before the blood moon that's occurring in March. So, again, we're still looking at the exact same point in time, which makes sense with everything else that we're looking at, because I highly recommend going back and watching my very first video on this channel, because I decode a few videos which show us that we're unmistakably looking at this upcoming blue blood moon, blue being on the Roman calendar. They have so much symbolism pointing towards it that it's really unmistakable. So it wouldn't make sense that what they're showing you in this scene is the September blood moon. I don't think we have until September, to be honest, with how quickly things are moving within the world, especially with Israel and the rest of the world. But yeah, so this kind of reaffirms to me that we are still looking at that specific lunar eclipse and not, in fact, the September one, which wouldn't make sense considering the rest of the symbolism that they showed us. It would be one part would not make sense, that's for sure. So we'll move on to the next part here. So I'm going to play this scene here from Thank God It's Doomsday, the Simpsons Rapture episode. So we'll just watch it first.
My Rapture, I went to Lisa's school play, which had serious pacing problems. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm wrong again! I'm nothing but a big fat... I was right! And there's the Earth, so beautiful with your many rings.
Okay, so I have to I have to credit Raw Repent with my changing of perspective of this scene. I'll talk about it in a sec, but first we'll just discuss the scene as a whole here. So Homer's driving out into the desert where he hopes to get raptured. And then you have the full moon here, and then a wolf howling. So what they're showing you here is the January full moon, the wolf moon, which occurred on the 13th of January, 2025. So as if you follow Brother Dana or Raw Repent, they're both looking at roughly this point in time here, which would be, not this point in time, but the reverse of that. So if you take this and assume the 3 is March and then the 11th here, so I'll just write that out. We'll make a little note. So that would instead look like in reverse March 11th. So that could potentially be what we're looking at here with that kind of wolf moon hint.
3, 2, 1.
And Homer does a countdown of 3, 2, 1. And then nothing happens. So, as I mentioned in, I think, the second to last video before this, when he says 3, 2, 1, what we could be looking at there is a date of 3, 2, 1, so March 21st. But nothing happens when he does his little countdown. So I think instead what that's pointing to is 3/22, which would be exactly the date I've been looking at for the past like five videos. Which would be the third quarter moon following the blue blood moon in March, as pretty much all of their symbolism points towards this.
Oh, I'm wrong again. I'm nothing but a big fat. I was right.
So I think this is where they also throw you off again here. So if you look at Homer's naked, he's symbolizing the moon in this case, and then you have Saturn back here. So as I did in the previous video, we'll go to that blood moon that's occurring one way too far there. That's occurring on September 7th to 8th here. And if you look on the 8th, you have the moon right beside Saturn. So I assumed like this is pretty unmistakable. This has to be what they're showing you here. Is you have like the full blood moon or the full moon in September, and then Saturn's right beside it here. But upon thinking on it, I think that's essentially just to confuse you here. So there's one thing I noticed within this scene. So the first thing is you have to realize Saturn is essentially you could say that is represents Satan. So Saturn is named after Satan. That's I'm not going to go into that in this video, but yeah, we'll make that assumption here, as well as Saturday is named after Saturn as well. So in this video here, you'll notice that it's not simply just Homer that's ascending. It's in fact, from this perspective, Saturn is going down as well. So if they wanted to make this differently, you just have Homer ascending and Saturn would essentially just stay stationary. But what I think they're showing you here is as the church is ascending, Saturn or Satan is descending. So I think that's what's being shown here, as well as Saturn is representing Saturday, which could be a nod to when his reign begins. So as we go to the dates I'm looking at here, so the 22nd, which would be the third quarter moon of the blue blood moon in March, that is in fact a Saturday. So lining up with my theory of 3, 2, 1 not happening and then it occurring on the 22nd, that's in fact a Saturday.
So beautiful with your.
So I think that's what they could be showing you there. So that kind of puts to rest another kind of theory that could be throwing us off from that particular date. But again, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I think that's what they're showing us here. So that's pretty well all I had to cover in this video. And thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. God bless. Take care.